Hello, family. I just wanted to, number one, make a video because this is my third month in Korea today. I've been in Korea since August 13th, and now today is November 13th. So I'm very excited about my first 3 months here in Korea. It hasn't been without challenges, but nevertheless, I'm still here and I'm still enjoying this experience and not planning anytime soon to move back to the States. So that's good, even though I am visiting the States soon. So I wanted to do this video on the different ways I'm getting around Korea, mainly for those people who are planning to come visit me, so you will know how we will be getting around, or the options for getting around Korea. Since, as you guys know, I don't have a car here, and I'm very happy about not having a car here. So there are several ways to get around without a car, and this is just like any other metropolitan city. We have taxi cabs. And taxi cabs are not as expensive as in the States. Standard fare, in other words, base fare, I guess I should say base fare, is about $3 for I think maybe a mile and a half. I don't know exactly the statistics or the numbers, but to go from my apartment to my school, it doesn't cost more than $3 or 2,800 won. So then that's about I don't know, a 20-minute walk. So anyway, usually we take taxis, and the great thing about taxis is that if you share it with someone, you split the fare. They're not going to surcharge you for every person that's riding. You just basically split the fare. The second great thing about taxis here, besides the cost and the fact that they split the fare, is that they're all over the place. It looks very much like this on very popular areas, well-traveled areas like in front of the mall or in front of the train station and stuff like that. So you will always see a taxi around. If you just wait on the street for about 2 or 3 minutes, you can definitely find several taxis passing by. And usually in the window, and I couldn't find a picture, they'll have like a little red thing glowing to let you know that they're available to take fares. And if it's not red, and that means they have someone in the car or they are not on duty. So, and you can pay in cash or a debit card. I mean, I paid for my 2,800 won with a debit card. Now, of course, in other cities, the base fare may be a little bit higher, or at night the fare does increase some. The only thing is you have to be careful in Seoul, because at night some of the cab drivers are not necessarily the most honest people and will charge you like 30,000 won to take you a mile, because they, depending on you not knowing where to go. So you just got to be aware of that and barter. So that's how I can get around. But mostly I walk and I take the city bus. And the city bus standard fare on a bus is like $1.30, and it includes a transfer. So if I at a stop and get on another bus to transfer, the second bus isn't going to charge me. Or if I get on a bus to go to the train station, it doesn't take me that far to go. Then when I get into the train station, the subway station, it's not going to charge me to enter the subway station. So they work together. And the bigger the city, the nicer the buses. That's all I can really say about that. I happen to live close to a bus stop where about 10 to 15 buses stop there. So in an hour, I can probably catch at least 10 buses, and depending on where they're going. So one of the great things about the bus system here is they have first of all, it's very roomy if the bus is not crowded. As you can see, these are how the interior of the buses look. And if people have all the seats, then you basically stand in the aisles. The second thing I like about the buses is that the bus stops are very much automated, where certain bus stops, not every single one, but the main bus stops, you can basically see on the screen how long it's going to take for the next bus to arrive, and they have a listing. Bus 20 is going to be 3 minutes away. Bus 15, and it updates regularly. And you can also get an app that synchronizes with your GPS and location, and you can search a bus route or a bus station, a bus stop, and it will tell you which buses are coming and when. So that's really nice about Korea in the transportation. So I enjoy using the city buses here and as well as in Seoul. So to me, it's quite cost effective. Now, if I want to go out of town to places like Seoul, as you can see here, out of town transportation, Seoul is There are several ways to do it. Seoul is about 50 kilometers north of where I live, so it's about an 80-mile trip. And I can take the express bus, which is basically a charter bus, for around $5.40. The express bus leaves anywhere between every 10 minutes to every 20 minutes. And depending on the time you go, you can just walk up, buy your ticket, and then go get on the bus, the next bus. Or sometimes if you get there earlier than the ticket that you bought, you can stand in line if they have any availability on the bus after they fill it up right before it's about to leave, then you can get on the bus as well. So I just happen to live within walking distance of an express bus station. So that's usually the quickest and easiest way. It takes about an hour to get to Seoul on the bus, maybe an hour 15 if there's a lot of traffic off the exit. But the express buses have their own lane on the freeway. So that's really nice. So it will take you exactly an hour to get to the city, and then sometimes to get off the exit, and they take a little bit longer. And they have express buses going everywhere. So not just from Cheonan to Seoul, but, to Busan, to Incheon, all these other different places as well. So if you want to go travel around Korea, to me, the most cost effective and flexible time frame is using the express bus, as well as comfortable. And they are very comfortable, as you can see inside. You do get an assigned seat, and the seat is very comfortable. So, but I have used my time taking the subway. Now, the subway is a Seoul subway system, and Busan, which is South Korea, has its own subway system. But since I live closer to Seoul, right here is where my stop is. You can see, I don't think you can see it, so let me point out. This is Cheonan. So, and then it takes, if I were on the subway riding to Seoul, let's say this area, it's Taewon, which is a very popular foreigner area. It takes around 2 hours and 15 minutes just on the subway. So a lot of people are like, why in the world would you do that? Well, several reasons. And the main reason is that it's a lot cheaper. It's about $2.50 for that 2-hour ride. Secondly is, once you get into Seoul, even if I take the express bus, once I get into Seoul, I still have to get on the subway to get to different areas. So you're going to be on the subway eventually. So that's one of the reasons why I take it. And if I have time to kill, or if I want to read my book, I'll take the subway. But it's definitely not the time effective way. It is the cost effective way. The advantage is, well, those are the advantages. The disadvantage is sometimes it's very, very crowded, and you could be standing for 2 hours and 15 minutes. So you have to make sure when you do ride the subway, you ride it at a good enough time where you can be guaranteed a spot. The benefit of starting in Cheonan, where I showed you before, is that not a lot of people are on the train at this spot. Now, as you get closer to Seoul, then the train starts getting packed. So if you can get a seat here, you ride that seat all the way until where you get into Seoul, and you don't have to stand. The disadvantage is if you're trying to ride it back from Seoul, you probably will be standing for a while until everyone gets off, or a lot of people get off and you have a seat. So that's one way that I use to take transportation out of town. I very rarely use the subway or train to go around Cheonan, which is where I live, because there's only 3 stops really on the subway where Cheonan is, and the subway station isn't within walking. Well, it is within walking distance, like 30 minutes walking distance. So I tend not to take the subway when I'm going around the city, but when I'm in Seoul, I definitely use the subway. And how we inside town. What did I say? So anyway, to get into the subway station, you basically pay around $1, and then for every, I think, 500 kilometers you travel, or I don't know the exact number, you have to pay an extra 500 won, which is around 50 cents. So it depends on how many stops you make. That will determine how much you have to be paying. And how we pay is not cash. They have these cards that each of the turn stations take when you get into a subway and when you exit the subway, and they only take those cards, and those cards are called T-Money cards, and they're very popular. You can buy a T-Money card, or you can, a lot of, my debit card has a T-Money logo on it, so I could put money on my debit card from the T-Money. My cell phone has a T-Money SIM card, so I could use that. And T is for transportation. All you have to do is charge it at these stations over here. And the only thing is you can only charge it with cash. So even though I can use my debit card as a T-Money card, I have to physically put cash using this machine on that particular card or wherever I have my T-Money at. So that's the disadvantage. There's no way to do this online. There's no way that I know of to track how much you're spending. But roughly, because I travel to Seoul every week, and probably twice a week, and then I also use the buses to get around Cheonan sometimes in the weekends and at evenings, it probably takes me about $20 a week to recharge, and that's on a really rough week. I mean, usually, like I recharged a couple weeks ago with $20, and I still have like about $8 or $9 on there. So it depends how often you use it. So here's a T-Money. Now there is another option called the bullet train to travel out of town, and it's the most costly option. Cheonan to Seoul is around 14,000 won. Actually a little bit over 14,000 won, so it's around $14. The benefit is from Cheonan to Seoul, it's 3 stops and 40 minutes, and you're in the heart of Seoul. So that's nice. And if you're really trying to get there in a quick enough time, and you have access to buy your tickets on your phone, you can, because you can buy your KTX tickets, which is a bullet train ticket, using an app on your phone. And if it's available, you don't even need to just show up there. You can just go to get on the tracks, and you're good to go if you've already bought your ticket. The disadvantage is sometimes they fill up very quickly, especially on the weekends. So it's hard to get a seat on the weekends in a timely fashion. You have to wait, or like I did, I got to the KTX station and it took me like basically, I bought the ticket and the next train wasn't moving for an hour. So they don't leave as frequently. They do leave frequently, but again, they may be sold out or whatever the deal may be. So I don't recommend that. Let's see. I talked about all that. Oh, I think that's about it. So when you come visit me in Korea, we will probably be using the subway to get around Seoul if we're going to be staying in Seoul. You can also get around using the express bus, which I like too. I mean, that's my preferred method of choice instead of the subway is flexible and it's costly. When you visit me in the city where I live, or if you're visiting me in Seoul, we may take the bus a lot. Either that or it's walking. I usually take cabs when I need to get somewhere very, very quickly, or when I don't know where I'm going, or if there's any buses that are around there. And then when I'm riding the cab, I'm taking a look to see which buses pass and if I recognize them. So that's just it. Just wanted to give you guys an idea of how we'll be getting around when you come and visit me. Just hope all is well. Love my family and friends. Bye bye.